Hello everybody and welcome to another video. My name is Chelsea. Today's video we are going to rearrange my girls' room. I'll show you guys where it's at right now and kind of tell you the idea of what I want it to end up being and kind of what the plans of what we're going to do with that. And over the voiceover part I'm going to do kind of a life update because this is the first video that I've posted in about 3 months. So I'm good, I'm healthy, everything's fine. I do want to apologize for being gone for 3 months, but we're back. So I will give you guys kind of the life update of what's going on the voiceover as we move through rearranging the girls' room. So let's get started. So before we get started, this is kind of what it looks like right now. We ended up, my brother ended up buying the girls a fort. That's what this is. I'll link it below. It's actually pretty cool. I remember when my brother and I were little, we would build forts all the time. And so he bought them this fort set. So hopefully they can still use it even though how I'm going to rearrange this. But my idea for it is I want to give the girls kind of their own space. Right now their beds are together. One of their bookshelves is over here. One is over here. The dress-up stuff they kind of share. This set of bins is a shared space as well. But what I would like to do is actually kind of split the room in half. This is a pretty decent sized room. So I want to put like Amelia, my older daughter, she'll be turning 6 in April, over here. And then my younger daughter, I want to put her over there. I want to take this dress-up cabinet apart and I want to reconfigure it so they each have their own space with their dress-up stuff, which is then on like the perspective side of their space. The 9 bin cabinet here and the Barbie house is probably going to go over here. And then the bookshelf and each of their dress-up stuff I'm hoping can be along kind of the same wall as their bed. And I know I don't have a lot of space for that over here on this side because I have this hutch which has a bunch of their craft stuff in it. But I'm going to try that. And then the mats that I have here, these big mats, I'm going to put in between their bed. So Amelia's is going to kind of stay on this side, but this cabinet's all, or this bookshelf is all Amy's stuff. So I kind of have to rearrange and go through, and they're going to help me to whatever extent that they can kind of purge some stuff and donate some stuff. I talk about that with the girls a lot, and Amelia, because we just had Christmas, didn't really want to get rid of a lot before Christmas, but now she's kind of willing to look and see what we got and get rid of a little bit more. So that's kind of my plan, and I'm pretty excited about it. I also am going to buy an actual bed frame for both of the girls. I had not previously because I just didn't think that they needed it. But Amelia's turning 6, she's wanting her own space, and I thought that splitting this room in half and giving them their own bed frame kind of would help with that maturity, a little bit of responsibility, and then they kind of have a little bit more space to call their own since they are in the same room. Overall, they do get along and they want to play together, but sometimes we need our own space. Even as adults, we need that too. So that's my plan. So let's get started and see what we can do. And as I work, the voiceover will give you guys the life update of what's been going on for the last 3 months.
So by the time I'm actually getting around to edit this video, it's more like 4 months because I filmed this in January after Christmas and it is now almost the middle of February. So sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you guys, but it wasn't intentional by any means. So to our exciting announcement, we are pregnant again. This was planned. It took us a little while longer to get pregnant this time around than it did when we were like planning to have the girls, but we're pregnant and we're really excited about it. And it is going to be a boy. We do know that. I'm far enough along. By the time I'm filming this, I'm kind of like in my 6th month. We found out that we were pregnant, and that was back in September. and I was doing pretty good in September, but then, you know, October rolled around, and month 2 and month 3 of my pregnancy was just exhausting. I was just absolutely exhausted. So I just couldn't get the gumption up to do much of anything. I mean, obviously I took care of my kids and I made food and things like that, but it was kind of the bare minimum. So the YouTube channel was kind of what ended up going on the back burner. And so that's why we're working on getting back now that I'm feeling better. This is my 3rd pregnancy, and we're really excited about it. This is the last baby that we're planning on having. I am planning on doing some pregnancy updates and videos and things like that, but I have a couple videos that I want to get out before I do that stuff. So the being pregnant was really the biggest part of the life update on why I've been MIA. There really hasn't been a lot of other stuff going on per se. Amelia, my oldest daughter, she is in kindergarten now, so I mean, she's been doing that, of course, since August. So just busy with that, but I mean, Amy's not really doing anything. Amelia's in martial arts right now, but she is actually going to do gymnastics. We're going to switch over to that kind of in the summer, so we're moving in that direction, but really just the pregnancy was just why I haven't been on YouTube. So my pregnancy overall has been very similar to Amy and Amelia. Month 2 and month 3, it was just tired, a little bit of nauseous, but it's like I could still kind of eat whatever I wanted. The only thing this time around is just the fatigue was so much more, and I think part of it is because I have 2 children that I'm running after as well, other than just being pregnant. But every pregnancy is a little bit different. But month 2, month 3 had my nausea, then I was over it about 16 weeks, and I'm feeling really good right now. I'm doing really well. I feel good. I'm taking it day by day, though. You know, I have kind of like 2 or 3 days where I'll be kind of motivated and I'll feel good, and then I'll usually have 2 or 3 kind of a little bit tired days. And so I've really just been trying to take that in stride in regards to cleaning the house, doing the dishes, you know, doing all of that stuff. The girls are getting much better at picking up after themselves and putting their dishes in the sink and things like that, because I really try to encourage that and you know, talking about, well, when the baby's here, you know, I'm gonna need a little bit more help. And so we've kind of been like preluding to that all along. And so that's been easier because then the girls have kind of taken up the slack on some of their stuff a little bit that they do, and that little bit is really helpful. And of course my husband helps out where he can and things like that. And because we live with my parents, I'm very fortunate to be able to have my dad be able to watch Amy while Amelia's at school, and I can go take a nap or clean a little bit or do something that I need to do where Amy is still taken care of. And I can get some of these things that I need to get done that are just easier to be able to just have a little bit of undivided time to do, or just take a rest and take a nap. So I'm very, very, very fortunate and very blessed. I don't think that I would have kept my sanity through this pregnancy if I had not been living with my parents. Even my first 2, for that matter. I mean, we've been living with my parents since my husband and I got married in the apartment that my parents have attached to their house. So blessings have been there because we have our own space, but I also have the support and help that I need, because it certainly, I mean, people always say it takes a village to raise a child, but it really takes a village to raise a family because, you know, parents need help just like children do, and parents and people, I mean, not just parents, but people need support from other people. We're social creatures. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to have that. But I am obviously now trying to get kind of back to YouTube, but I'm doing it a little bit more in the manner of fun. So I'm not promising that I'm getting videos out every week. It's always my intention, but I'm not promising anything because I'm just kind of rolling with what I'm feeling comfortable with right now and enjoying it. If I'm getting to the point where I'm dreading it because I don't want to edit the video, or I want to film but I don't want to edit, I'm trying to give myself some grace here in that regard. So I really, really appreciate those of you who have stayed subscribed and those of you who are still watching my videos or are going to start watching them again now that I'm kind of back, even though it'll probably be intermittent and I'm not promising a video every week, although that's what I'd like to do. But I just wanted to thank you guys for, you know, sticking around and still being here and still supporting my channel. We'll get back to the video, and I'll do a little bit more explaining about what we are doing in this video. So kind of as you guys have seen so far, I have just been rearranging and putting the beds first because they are obviously a bigger furniture item, where they need to go, and vacuuming, dusting as I go, pulling everything off the shelves. I am decluttering. I don't actually end up showing you guys, but I think I ended up getting rid of like big pile of books and like 3 little grocery bags full of toys, and probably another bag of garbage that was just stuff that was just not fixable or whatever. So just moving that stuff around is kind of what I started with, to put the mats and the beds where I wanted them first, because I really knew where that was going to go. The rest of it is just flexible based on where it'll actually end up fitting. I don't know if you caught that. There was a chunk in there where I did not show you taking apart the kids' dress-up bins that I had, because it took me a while to take it apart, and then it took me a while to put it back together and fix it. Like, they all clip into each other, so in and of itself it's not all that difficult, but I had zip tied some of them together, so now you can see on the screen that the bins are now a set of 4 stacked up in a column. So Amy has a column on her side of 4, Amelia has a column on her side of 4. But I was struggling with it, and I'm like, you guys don't need to see all that. So that was that switch over blurb, and then I moved Amy's bookshelf to this side, and now Amelia is home, and the girls were actually helping me bring the books over at this time. So I still was, as I was putting Amy's stuff away, decluttering just the same. And then, of course, after a little while, the girls got distracted and were playing, so I finished up the rest of it. I didn't show you guys all the whole time that they were helping me, but they did for probably about 20 minutes or so. And then now I moved over to this side of the room to be able to adjust the rug again, you guys will see, and then fix the Barbie house and put that where I want it, and this 9-bin cabinet, and figure out kind of where I want that stuff. I pulled all these posters off the wall. They had these big, kind of like double-sided heavy-duty sticky tape. So I do have to paint over some of that, but that was not a project that I was willing to do today. So that did not get fixed, but all that stuff did come off the wall. But patching and painting is another day's project for the whole apartment there's some other spots in the kitchen and things that need to be done. But of course, as I was going, I was vacuuming and dusting and tidying as best I could, because that's how I rearrange things. And you can see I moved the 9-bin cabinet over because it wasn't working on that other side over there, and I decided to put the Barbie house next to the door, which actually I think worked out better on that side that I ended up putting it on, and it seemed to give us quite a bit of space. So really happy with how this moved along. It did end up taking me 2 days to do it. You can see here I've obviously switched clothes because it's taken me 2 days to do it, but the dress up stuff was the majority, and then the Barbie stuff and the bins, going through those and decluttering those, which was easier while Amelia was at school because she kind of wants to keep everything. But I know what that feels like because I used to be like that when I was a kid too. So, but we kind of rearranged some things because with the baby coming, I wanted to have some bins for the baby in this cabinet as well. So we rearranged some things, and then Amy got some train stuff for Christmas. So I put in that 3-drawer bin there all of the train stuff, and I divided it out. So the big stuff was in one, and the little trains were in another, and then the tracks were in another one. And that worked out really well. And Amy was pretty helpful in helping me put away. She's kind of hit or miss, but when she wants to help, man, she wants to help. And she's a good helper when she wants to. So I just try to encourage that as much as possible with both of my kids, because eventually they're going to have to learn to do it. And we don't always want to do it as adults, but forcing them to do it will make them really not want to do it, I think, as they get older. So just encouraging as best I could and going through all of the stuff, making sure everything was where it needed to be, and just the tidying, cleaning, decluttering that I had wanted to do for a while in the kids' room, but just didn't have the gumption to do. But this again was in January, so it was after Christmas. We had gotten all of our Christmas stuff back, of course, in our room too, so it was like even more time to be able to go through some of it and put some of it in Mimi's and Grandpa's room. My parents have a playroom, TV room in their house also, so when they go over there and spend some time with Grandpa, then they can go over there and have kind of like a new set of toys, sort of. So we did end up moving some stuff over there, which is convenient because then it's not like we're getting rid of it, but then it feels like a new toy every time they go and play with it. So it worked out really well, and I've been really pleased so far as I've been doing this project on what got moved where and that kind of thing, and helping Amy put stuff together here, as you can see, and play as I was cleaning. So it was working out really, really good and turning out almost better than I had kind of thought. So that was really cool. And so, of course, going through the kids' room, I also ended up putting some things in the closet. Reorganizing that closet that has the kids' clothes in it and some of our extra like winter stuff and things like that. That'll be in another video I am planning on doing that I'm excited about because I want to reorganize it. It just needs to be redone a little bit. But I was putting stuff in the closet, and that's just another day organizing. But then the Barbie house is what I ended up going through, wiping everything down. Because as far as wiping things down, the Barbie house is usually the last thing that gets done, or it gets missed. That's what I'm doing here. And of course you guys saw me dusting down the cabinet and wiping the bins out if they needed to. And so just cleaning the best I could as I went through and decluttered and rearranged things. I would probably say the most time-consuming part of this particular project was going through this pile of stuff on the green mats. Most of it is the kids' dress-up stuff. I just piled it all together, and then I did the best I could going through it, going, okay, this is Amy's or this is Amelia's. But then even after I got done, I still had 2 bins of stuff that I had to go through with Amelia on another day that because I couldn't remember all that stuff, and she's pretty good at remembering what goes where and whose is whose. So she did end up helping me with that at another time, but I did the majority of it, going through it and reorganizing it. But that was pretty time consuming because it just kind of, like you see, there's a huge pile of stuff there, and I just kind of threw it all there when I was taking everything out and reorganizing. So sometimes that's what you got to do. It's like sometimes you make a bigger mess before you get cleaner, and that has never really bothered me in a project. I know that really bothers some people, but as far as me organizing and cleaning, I was totally okay with that. And so that's just kind of how it works. So this was the most probably time-consuming part of this whole video. I was very grateful when it was all done. And the reveal. I was very pleased with how this turned out. I'm still pleased with how it turned out. It gives them a lot more room to play. It just worked out really well. Even with the beds that my husband and I ended up buying, or the bed frames, excuse me, worked out great. I had to rearrange the bookshelves and their dress-up stuff a little bit, which you guys will probably see in future videos. I was really pleased with how this was set up. The girls have their own space. Amy's been sleeping in her own bed lately, so that's really nice. They fall asleep in their bed, but they usually end up coming in mine in the middle of the night. It just worked out really great, so I'm very, very pleased with the end result.